It's spring in corporate America, and that means you're either in review season or you're halfway to your review season. But either way, there's something you need to hear. You are not your performance review. From a young age, especially in America, we as kids are given school grades. These grades are based on results from tests, how often we do our homework. They are a measure and a signal of our academic performance because of state mandates, but also parents want to know how their kids are doing in school. It's really easy for us to develop an emotional and psychological identity tied up in our academic performance. Heck, maybe you were even a child to parents, or you're a parent yourself that has a bumper sticker on your car that says, "Parent of an honor roll student," or "My kid goes to such and such academy." As kids, we get stress and anxiety from bad grades. We start to shape our identity when we're a kid that gets good grades, and our teachers perceive us differently, and society perceives us differently. There's just all sorts of reasons why we get emotionally tied up, and our identities tied up in this idea of our grades. And that's for many reasons, but of course, what did corporations turn around and do? They have the performance review, and the performance review is a great way to carry forward all of that psychological tradition of wanting people to strive to be better and better employees. That taps way down into something that was psychologically instilled in many of us when we were children, the same age where you learn what's right and wrong in your values and perhaps your religion. In some ways, the performance review is a perfect construct of corporate America. So it's natural if you get a bad performance review, which these days usually comes along with a tag of needs to improve or even the dreaded meets expectations. It's very natural to feel bad about your performance review. Here's the thing. Now that you're keeping in your mind the context that makes you feel like how you feel about your performance review, let's talk about two really important things that shape the corporate performance review. The first thing you should know, and I've been an individual contributor and IC all the way up to a manager, director, a lot of times performance reviews are contrived. You have to understand that a performance review actually is barely a representative of your work and who you are as a human. There's no real objective measures in thought work and white-collar jobs about like how well you're doing. You don't show up to work on Monday and end the day with an 85 on your report card. That doesn't exist. You have days where you're productive, you have moments where you're less productive, you have times in your life where you're dealing with medical stuff, life stuff, 120% one day and 80% the next, and that's natural stuff. But when I talk about it being contrived, the thing you have to understand is that very often companies, especially very large companies, have shareholders or investors, they have budgets, and they make a decision like, we will spend X% more on our staff this year. Then usually upper management goes to middle management and they say, you have this much to work with. And they often ask middle managers to do something that I think is deeply inhuman and deeply sort of insulting, I guess, to your fellow colleagues. But you're usually asked to rank your team members. Sometimes it's in buckets, good, better, best, or good, not neutral, and not good. Or, and I think this is worse, you're asked to stack rank your people. Who is number one on your team? Who is number two? And they use language of like someone who, if you lost, your team would be set back. And this is often an exercise in the company building evidence or giving itself metrics or a framework to see who they might want to lay off and fire eventually. But it's also a framework for them to go, people in this band get X reward, people in the next band get Y reward, and people down here get diddly squat. So if you were one of these people that didn't get as much as you wanted or needed, which is most people, or if you got nothing at all, you're likely just a result of a ranking from a predetermined process that has to do with a budget that you had no control over. A lot of times when you are asking a person to rank people on their team, the natural human bias is just to rank who you are happiest with, or you like the most, or you like their work the most. It's a very personal thing that the company is trying to turn into a process that seems objective and like it is simply the truth, when it's really an abstraction about how much your boss likes you, lately even, not officially. Which brings us to the last thing that you need to know about your performance review. We talked about the psychology of tying your identity up in this thing. We have talked about how this is a made-up corporate theater process. But lastly, the thing you need to understand is that performance reviews are a falsehood. And what do I mean by that? Well, often in my career, I got reoccurring advice, and it's probably advice I would still get depending on the situation, which is, Ryan, when you are a cheerleader, you make everybody glow around you and people show up just to work with you, that you keep people coming in. They love working with you. But Ryan, when things are not going well, i.e. corporate pivots, messy process, bad management, the work is unfulfilling, well, you get sad or you get grumpy. And you kind of make all the people around you sad and grumpy too. Regardless of what your feedback is, there's something you should know. And I've talked to friends and stuff who've gone through this. I had another friend ask me recently, what's something they could be better at instead of just like the things that they're good at? You are not pieces of a person. You are a whole person with good and bad and personality quirks, and you are who you are. And if you have come to a job and people like working with you and you're doing good work and you're putting your best self out there, that's you, okay? And by the way, the bad days are you too. And we like to imagine, especially like companies or tests or measurements like to imagine that if we could just take this messy thing that is a person and shave off and sand down all the rough edges until they are a perfect sphere of human productivity. I mean, so many of them trying to replace people with AI because in some way AI gets people closer to this perfect productivity blob instead of a human that can get sick or have a bad day or disagree with a strategy. If you took away the Ryan who was grumpy and can make people grumpy around him, you're taking away the Ryan who lights up other people and inspires them to do better work. If you take away the you that is writing code too fast and maybe a little bit sloppy, you might be taking away the you that has a brilliant idea that they can execute in one day. If you take away the you that takes a long lunch break because you want to take a stroll around the neighborhood, they're also taking away the you that is going to make the next great illustration or marketing campaign design. You are a whole person. And the idea that we can take a person and make them fit into a mold for the sake of speed and cooperation of a company is anti-human. It's a falsehood. Don't fight yourself. Now look, there's so many other things about this that are messed up. And if you're feeling emotional distress about this review season, I definitely recommend talking to a therapist and reflecting with your friends. Don't keep it inside. Don't hide away from it. This process isn't about you. You are just a party to it and a participant in it. So if you are getting a meets expectations and you're worried for your job, or a needs improvement and you're being put on a performance improvement plan, you can follow the plan, you can do as the company asks, you can try to improve, but really you might also be in a culture that just isn't compatible with who you are or your values. Like I said at the top, you are not your performance review.